Hi there, my name is Michelle. I am the creative director at SynergyIQ. I'm reading a book at the moment and it's called Immunity to Change. And it just got me thinking about the changes that I've gone through myself, and also the changes that I've helped individuals or organizations or teams go through. And I really quite like the term immunity to change because it puts change resistance into a completely different light. A lot of times I speak to leaders of change and they get very frustrated by the people who are not coming along for the ride, that are not implementing what they need to be implementing, that seem to be fearful of change, which is probably true. They probably are fearful of the change. And they're called resistors, or change resistance is the term that we use quite a lot in this space. And to be frank, there's actually a lot of reasons why, as a human being, we won't change. There's a lot of science that sits behind the reasons that we establish the behaviors and the patterns that we actually establish, and it takes some time for us to be able to unravel those habits. So if you haven't read Charles Duhigg's book, which is called The Power of Habit, I really recommend that you read that book, particularly if you are working in a space where you're having to influence change in some way, shape or form, because in that book he actually explains quite clearly how habits form and the science behind it. So how the brain changes and maps specific pathways to enable us to make our life easier. That's really why we've got these habits or these subconscious behaviors in place. And to change those things, you need to do a lot of and take a lot of very deliberate action. And it doesn't happen just overnight. And also the way in which our brains are wired is that they're wired to take us back to those easy ways of being. So we can go through a process of change and doing things in a new way, but until they are firmly re-established as the new way of being for us, we will constantly be pulled back to the old behavior. It's almost like having a bit of a bungee cord attached to your waistband. So you might be running along all very nice while the bungee cord is slack. But once that bungee cord starts getting a lot tighter, it's harder to run. And at some point you may get to the end and boing all the way back. So we have to actually cut that bungee cord eventually to make sure that the new behavior and the new patterns are actually established. So if you're interested in learning more about how habits are established, then get Charles Duhigg's book. I actually talk about these things in my book, Culture Inc., Creating a Business That Delivers Results and People Love. So please feel free to pick up a copy of that, and we'll talk more about habits and the science of change along the way. I've just about to go and meet with a colleague of mine who's been studying a lot in the neuroscience space, and I love having a conversation with her about how neuroscience and change interlock. So I'll bring you more a bit later. We're actually going to do an interview with her as well, which I'm quite excited about. All right, I will talk to you again really soon. My name is Michelle Holland. I am from SynergyIQ, your transformation partner.